Hi, this is Ed Rossich. Welcome to the Dude, Who Are You and What Do You Do For Us podcast. I'm here live in San Diego at Dude University with 3 or 4 of our favorite people, which are Dude clients. I've got my sidekick for the day, Tony Butler. Tony, how's it going?
Hey, it's going really good here.
Awesome. You don't look all that tired, although I know you must be with all the people we've been running into.
It's been pretty constant, but I've been going to bed early, so I've been...
Early in the morning, like 2 a.m.?
9:30, 10 o'clock.
9:30, 10 o'clock. Good for you, which is 12:30 Eastern time. But yeah, this has been a great experience. We've got 4 special guests with us today. I'd like them to introduce themselves, who they hang out with during the day, and how long they've been Dude users. I'll start with you.
My name is Bas Kervel. I'm with Menno Place in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And I've been with the Dude for probably around 10 years.
10 years, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm Terry Naylor. I'm with the Vancouver School Board in Canada. We've been with the Dude for 7 years now, and we use Maintenance Direct and PM Direct, and we just love it.
Awesome.
I'm Tom Gaines. I'm with Grant County, Washington, local government there at the courthouse in Ephrata, Washington. We've been a Dude user for about 4 years. Use a number of their platforms. Love it.
Thanks.
My name is Tamara Quinata-Tinkler, and I work for Mission Oaks Recreation and Park District in Sacramento County. And we've been Dude users for about 2 years and 4 months. And we're currently using Maintenance Edge and everything associated with Maintenance Edge, all of it. Love it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Genuinely happy that you guys took the time and energy to get here, and hopefully you've found the conference. What's been the conference like for you guys? Anybody? Terry, how you been feeling about the conference?
I am so energized, so excited about some of the new opportunities, and I quite enjoy just, again, meeting people, because this is my 6th conference.
6th,
and I just enjoy meeting people and saying, hey, how are you doing? Why haven't you done this? Or what can you do that? And and it challenges me. I've got a half page of things I want to get done when I get back, and a couple of things I want to do in the lab. So it's just, I get re-energized. It's perhaps some of the sun, but also just the people. Seeing so many people, meeting people, and being able to chat with some peers and say, oh, you got a question there? Well, this is what I did. You don't have to do it that way, but this is what I did. So I just love being here.
Awesome. I have a lot of the same sort of feelings about it. Tom?
These conferences are always light bulb moments for me. You get comfortable using these modules and you think you've got it all figured out, and you come down here and you just learn a whole bunch of new stuff again. And one of the best things I get to do is continually bring different employees down here. Mm-hmm. We have a small maintenance shop, so ownership and the Dude is really important. They come down here, they sit in these courses, and seeing those light bulb moments for them as well. It's a continual learning process every time we come here, so it's great.
That's great. Glad you're here. Shift a little bit. What's a day like in your shoes, in the roles that you have, and maybe just elaborate a little bit more on your role and what you're responsible for. But try to put our listeners and folks into your shoes for a day. Tamara?
Actually, I'm a park systems technician, and my day usually starts out with answering emails and phone calls for people's devices that aren't working. So if they've got an iPad that they're supposed to be getting their work orders, but it's not working, probably because they didn't get the next update. So I can actually go into another software and update it for them before they come in at 7. I usually start my day about 5:30. And then I check our irrigation software program and make sure that that's functioning correctly. And if it's not functioning correctly, then I shoot a text message to the irrigation tech who's on his way into work to let him know that he's got an issue. And as soon as he gets in at 8, please let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. Then I usually prep my schedule for my boss, make sure he doesn't miss any meetings, so he relies on me that way. Or if he needs a password, I keep a list of his passwords, and he'll call me on the phone and say, hey, what's my password for this? So then I'll tell him and he'll log in, or he'll say, I'm too old, can you please come down and type it in for me? So I'll do that. I do a lot of that. I do a lot of putting out fires, and then I also create all of the reports and charts and graphs that I pull from work order and plan maintenance for all of the board meetings, for all of our division meetings. And essentially, and this is every single day. And usually in there, someone calls and says, my computer's not working, my VoIP phone's not working. Can you please drive out here? I need a new cable. Or,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so I do a lot of that. But it's fun, it's exciting. And, I'll get calls from other districts and they'll say, hey, we're using Dude Solutions, but we ran into this problem. What can you tell us? So then I'll get phone calls from our sister districts. So I get pulled all the time, and so it's not uncommon to see me on the phone with one and texting the the other.
Oh, wow.
That's normal. That's normal.
Can you balance a cup of coffee while you're doing that at the same time?
I can do like this
Awesome.
with the, you gotta do it.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's about you.
So I'm the manager, environmental services, so look after all the maintenance. Maintenance guys, I have 10 maintenance guys on our site. And so I look after them, and we have the Works Up module with the dude, and so I use that to manage my day and kind of overlook how things are going and print out a few reports just to see how the guys are performing, and that's what I do. And I have a self-led team, and I rely on my people to do the work and look after our residents, and that's the key for us, is make the environment special for the residents and safe, and it's exciting.
Awesome.
I know one of the things Terry, you mentioned was being energized by being here at Duke University. I know I have the same story, so whenever I get to meet the clients, it helps me kind of connect the dots on what we do back in the office and how it impacts you guys. It's one of my whys, right? They talked about the why on Sunday. For you guys, I mean, what keeps you motivated and going and focusing on how to make this community better?
Well, first, I enjoy public service, and I'd like to think that I take some pride in that. I care about the community, the buildings we have that are serving the community. It's a historic courthouse. In Washington State, we only have so many counties, so it's a small percentage of the population that gets to take care of a historic building that's
that's cool.
kind of an icon of the community. So that motivates me. There's some pride and ownership there, trying to get that through the maintenance staff. And much like you, I think it's a recurring theme. My day starts between 5 or 5:30 in the morning, because at 8 o'clock is when my phone blows up. So
Wow.
I look forward to that couple of hours of quiet time, working in Dude products a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Making sure my capital plans are updated, things like that. So, but empowering my teams. I've got some self-led teams too. It's wonderful when you have people like that, and they take pride in it too. So it's easy to be motivated.
Yeah. Wow. One of the things, this is my obviously new CEO, been here 145 days. One of the things that's really struck me about the folks that I've met here is the sense of pride in the work you guys do. You guys refer to your stuff as my buildings, my plumbing, my this. It's like that conveys such a sense of ownership. Were you born with that, or is that something you just sort of came into that responsibility and own it from this day forward? But it really is something different that I've noticed. Terry?
I think it's, once you get into it and realize you can make a difference and you can make things better for your clients and for the students, or previously in my other job, I looked after buildings for rec centers and stuff like that, making it better, making it so it functions for them. And it's exciting. And I took this job to be able to help the organization just expand and do things a little bit better. And School Dude has been just such a great help to that. And I'm still struggling to get people to get computerized and get the older dogs to learn new tricks, including myself. So that's kind of a bit scary some days.
Wow. Bas?
So I started out, I've been at my organization for 18 years. So I've been there a long time. I started out as a groundskeeper, sort of worked my way up, and I took pride in what I did. People saw that. My bosses sort of helped me get to where I wanted to go. They could see that I had a vision to make the place better for the seniors, and I was committed. And with that kind of leadership, you have that growth, and that's sort of how I got started and where I am now. So
Yeah, I think one of the common themes, at least for the people at DG, and maybe we're preaching to the choir, but I feel like a lot of the folks here definitely take ownership and pride in what they're doing and trying to figure out, how to take it to the next level. I know one of the things that we've been talking about, and hopefully what my team is talking to you guys about is, are you getting everything you can out of the dude? You mentioned being in it all the time. As far as using the tools every day, are there particular things that you really rely on when it comes to not just tracking work, but maybe reports and data that you're sharing with others in your organization?
I use intelligence every day. Every day I am checking intelligence. I love it. I think it's the best thing that you guys ever created, only because I used to have to spend hours every month creating my own charts and graphs and pulling those numbers and calculating them out. And now I can just bring that up, and I can pull, like in the session that I just did, talking about the bar graph with the red triangle, and the red triangle being those labor hours, and then the blue bar graph being the total number of work orders, and how to identify whether you're performing at an optimum level based on where those two are meeting each other or whether they're far off, and explaining what each one could potentially mean, but again staying objective, because you have to remember certain people do certain things. Our irrigation tech has less work orders, but he's got higher hour. Well, why? Because it takes hours to dig a 4-foot main out of the ground and then repair it, and then you have to wait for the glue to dry, and so that's clearly going to take longer. So again, staying objective, but really looking at those features in intelligence. I know all the time where my guys are at, all the time, every day, and it's because of that. So I love it.
Awesome.
What about you, Tom?
Yeah, well, Dude Intelligence is something that I actually need to learn a lot more about. It was introduced to me last year. Didn't even know it was there. And I've grown quite a bit with it, but it's something I do want to use more and more. One of my favorite products is the capital forecast. I'm in county government. I just came out of a session where somebody said, hey, they only give me $5 million a year to spend, and I kind of chuckled, because nothing for me is guaranteed. Every year I have to request. And when I came to the county, they were tracking maintenance on yellow sticky notes. And my commissioners had asked me to implement a CMMS system, and we went with facility view. I've got this living, breathing capital plan now that I can update, and I can plan, I can budget. Doesn't mean I'm going to get the money, but at least we know where we're going, and we know the mountains that are in front of us. And that's been incredibly
awesome. Awesome. If you guys could pull the 600 dudes into a room and make one ask of our company that would make a more positive impact to your days, like what would that be? Anything pop to mind?
How do you make the best thing in the world even better? That's a very difficult question.
Folks, I did not pay her to say that. I was actually hoping you should give me something to work on.
I would say it's hard. I would say in university you have new products rolling out that there seem to be a lot of people that are incredibly interested in. And a lot of times, at least here in the university, I don't know if you guys have experienced, I have, where it's standing room only and you can't even get in the door. And it's for these new products like for instance, Asset Essentials. Critical new product, the total next generation. Everybody wants it, and everybody wants to know what it is. I want to know what it is. I want to get my head wrapped around what this beautiful thing is, but I can't even get into the classroom. So I would say, if you could improve anything, when you have new launches or upgrade launches and you have a university, give those guys the bigger room. They're going to need it because we want to know. We do want to know. We're desperate to know.
I think on the work sub side, just keep that development going. It's I've had the work sub since it started. Before that, it was PM Works, and I've got maintenance guys that have put in suggestions, and they've used that to help develop the software. So, I mean, they listen. You guys listen. You take that information. You develop a great product, and I think just keep that going.
Okay. Awesome. Tom or Terry, any?
I put in. I phone fairly often. Help us. Hey, how can we do this? And I want to do this a little differently, and all that kind of stuff. I like talking to the people, but occasionally there's, oh yeah, I'm going to see if I can find that gap and figure out what we can do with that gap. But the gap doesn't get closed. They may fix it, they may not, and they may tell client services, or they may not. So I don't ever find out whether something's been fixed. Not always, but sometimes something needs to be tweaked, or there's a couple of issues that I've got right now, and client services say, the help desk says, great, we'll help it. We'll see what we can do. We'll tell people, and they don't get told, so they don't tell me, so I don't know whether it's been done or not. So just closing that loop. And yeah, sometimes I'll go and try it. It's fixed now. Great. But when there's new enhancements and updates, I would really like to see some sort of blurb that comes out that says, hey, we've improved this way. Can you try it and give us a feedback or something, as opposed to, we rolled that out 3 months ago, and okay.
Right.
But just kind of closing the loop on the requests so that we are able to try them, give some feedback, or say, well, I'm glad you did that. Thank you. Because we'd really like to say thank you, because you are responsive. I've still got a few things I want, upgraded, but there we go. We all have those asks.
Yes, we do. Yep, we do.
And I'd like to say thank you. It's great that you listen.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that just a little bit. So I think you guys do listen really well. I think it's one of the hallmarks, because I speak with folks at the Dude a lot, and I get a lot of good feedback, and sometimes I get called and get asked for my feedback. We're transitioning to Energy Manager now, and one of the things that I like in that Energy Manager is when you log onto your homepage, there's a pop-up with announcements. It would be great, piggybacking on what you said, if work order had that.
Yes.
And then if you do roll something out, or you've got a change coming, then all of your work order users or maintenance direct users would get that pop up. Hey, this is coming. Grant County had the opportunity to be a beta tester with the mobile app. Anytime we can do stuff like that, we love to do that. We've got a pretty techie group in Grant County. We played with your IT software too in my IT department. So yeah, just that continued communication and that building that relationship, which is already great.
That's so good to hear. Really good to hear. So I'd like to turn the table over. We're probably 20 minutes in or so, and I'm really interested if you've got questions for me about the company or anything that might pop into your mind. Anything's fair game.
I want to know what compelled you to finally make the decision to write your book. I've used your book. I've referenced it to my team. I love it. I carry it with me.
You and my mom, man, that's all right.
And I feel so odd right now. But honestly, I want to know what compelled you. What was the defining moment that you decided, you know what, I really feel like this is the next step in my life. I need to give this information or I need to put it out there so people can have my perspective. What was the thing that made that happen for you?
Well, thank you. You're very kind. Folks can't see, but I'm blushing all red here. But so the genesis of the book is I was in between things, in between a startup and another company, and I tell the same stories over and over. The dudes all like me right now because I'm telling these new stories. In about a year, they're going to be like, that's the 5th time I've heard that. But what ended up happening is someone said, you got so many stories, you just ought to write a book. And so I was like, that's probably not too bad. I had nothing to do. It was raining in Northern California, and so I just started drinking a lot of coffee and typing, and that collection of 13 or 14 chapters are really stories that they're all true. I've lived them, and were easy just to put down on paper in about 30 days. And literally, my mom did the first edit, no kidding, and then my sister did the second edit, and then I sent it off for professional editing. But I get a lot of good positive feedback. It was on Amazon's Hot 100 business books for about the first 30 days, and then my mom ran out of money. So, but thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Other questions for me?
I really like some of the sessions. I went to DK's session on managing change, and it would be awesome to have that as a podcast or something, because that sort of thing where the PowerPoint's very nice, thank you very much, but the way he presents it and does that sort of thing, and being able to convey the passion he's got, and hey, we do it this way, and this is why we do it this way. And, oh, okay. It would be great to be able to reference that as a video, or even just a podcast, so that I could listen to it again. That would help me.
I think Tony and Papa Dude can probably pull that off.
We can make that happen. So I'll connect with DK and Papa Dude and make it happen.
Yeah, and then give me an update on work expansion.
I like how he slid that in.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was like Novocaine there at the front. Didn't even feel the pinch.
It's funny. Well, mine are going to be more general in nature. What's kind of a two-part question, not related. Your biggest surprise in coming to the Dude thus far, the one thing that surprised you the most? And as far as this East Coast, West Coast Dude U conferences, not that there's anything wrong with San Diego, but have you ever considered any other sites up and down the West Coast?
Oh, interesting. The last question's probably the fastest. We have looked at a lot of venues all over the U.S. We're in a spot now, as you guys can see, we had 800 folks here. As you get larger, the number of venues that can support you, not only from conference space and meeting space, but also hotel space, starts to shrink. And so we've looked at Seattle, we've looked at Chicago, we've looked at a few other places. You know, unfortunately, not this table or any of the Dude Nation, but you know, the best place to do conventions really is Vegas, because it's the cheapest place to have a hotel and usually the cheapest flights. But a lot of our customers and clients are not allowed to go to Vegas for obvious reasons. I should probably not go to Vegas for obvious reasons, but we are looking at, you know, obviously we've announced that the next couple will be in Raleigh. And I'm glad for that. I know it might not be the easiest place for folks from the West Coast to get to, but one, I wanted to get our Dude clients exposure to more dudes, and I wanted to get more dudes exposed to more clients. So we're going to have like a day at Dude U next year for every employee, and we hope to busload a few of you back to headquarters and maybe shake some hands and see some of that there. Biggest surprise. So I'm actually, it's all the same surprise, but sort of three flavors. You know, I went through a 50-hour interview process, and I had three sort of measures for me that what was important. First off, I wanted to work with really sharp, nice people. I didn't want to work with jerks. Two, the product had to have a noble mission and serve a noble purpose. I mean, there's a ton of software applications out there that, hey, they're important, but they're not noble or vital or do good stuff. And then the third was potential for growth. You know, I didn't want to go to a company where the growth opportunity wasn't large. And, you know, I'll use a software term. You know, usually in the interview process, you've all been there, there's a demo feel to things. You know, they show all the flashy features and not necessarily the ugly things. But the biggest surprise for me is the three Ps that I mentioned, people, product, and potential. The biggest surprise was I think I got undersold taking the job, and the people are smarter and nicer than I anticipated. The product fulfills a more noble mission than I anticipated. And we are just getting started here as a company, even though we've been in business for 19 years. The mountain, there's a huge mountain for us to climb. You know, we've got so much to do to solve problems for you all, and so I see a lot of growth.
Very good.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, hey, we are really thankful that you guys took the time out of your days and the contributions you make to us. We hope you enjoy the rest of the day and the dinner tonight, and know that the 600 dudes at Dude Nation are really thankful for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. Have a good day.